Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 23rd through the 29th. And first, we have a waxing gibbous moon, and that is a time for a deeper understanding and outlook. We're kind of halfway through the cycle now, so we're going to look around at those things that we started at the beginning of the cycle at the new moon and say what's working, what's not working, and then we're going to show that we can be flexible and make adjustments. So make those adjustments and then forge ahead and continue working on those things. We also have the full moon that comes up this week on the 28th. So full moon, of course, can be a time of heightened emotions. You might feel overwhelmed and anxious, or you might just have a lot of high energy. So it's a good time for us to practice patience and calm and just try to continue focusing on those things that we are working on. But keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading, it is time to release negativity. So, that is exactly kind of what the full moon is for. It's a good time to release those kind of things. So, perfect. Your card happens to be full moon in Scorpio. So, please keep that in mind. Of course, release negativity comes with the full moon energy. So, good card for this time for you for this week. All right, let's see what the Virgo Collective has going on. Usually, this would be a time when I would put in a just like a little friendly reminder for you. But this week, I do need your help on something. I'm thinking about doing the occasional live stream. And this might start, kind of at the when summer ends and the weather's not as great outside and I'm inside more. But I was thinking I would do just free live streams of maybe one or two card readings where you guys could ask a question and I do kind of a live reading for you. So if that's something you might be interested in, all I need from you is a comment down below to let me know what day of the week or actually time of day or both if you want to put those in there. Maybe let me know your time zone where you're from. So that way I can, I'll use that information to schedule some of those live streams for you guys. So just pop that into the comments and let me know. All right, let's get into this reading. Virgo, August 23rd through the 29th. It's time to release negativity. Your present energy right now is the Six of Pentacles. So, feeling a little bit like an outsider, and that is very negative. I call this the comparison is the thief of joy card. Sometimes if we're doing a comparison, you do feel like an outsider. Why don't I have that thing that that person has? Or why isn't my life like that? Or that seems to be going very easy. Just remember when people, when you're looking at others, that people aren't always being exactly who they are outwardly. We all have struggles. We all go through the same types of things. So you don't compare yourself. You just really compare yourself to yourself. Are you better than you were last week? Are you better than you were last year? That's really the journey that all of us are on. It's not a race. It's just us against ourselves, I guess, really. So, in what ways are you feeling like an outsider? So, whatever that is, let's explore that a little bit. Your current situation right now is the Five of Swords. So, two fives right in a row. Fives are our conflicts. So, feeling like an outsider. And then the Swords is about kind of, winning, but through underhanded tactics. This is about just exchanged words. This is air energy. So, sometimes thoughts, but typically these are about words that are coming out either at you? Are you this person who was wounded maybe by a word, or are you the person who's putting something out there? So, some conflict going on with you. So, remember, whatever negativity this is, it is a good time right now to release it. These could be things that have happened to you in the past that they're still kind of on your mind. You might be ruminating about, but it's a good time to release those negative things. Let's just give them over to the universe and try to move on in a more positive way. At the root of your situation is the Judgment card. So, you might either be judging, you might be judging others, you might be judging yourself, or you might feel judged by others. So that is kind of at the root. There's some sort of judgment that's going on that's making you feel like an outsider. And I hate judgment. Just don't do it. If you're the one doing it, then don't. If you feel like you're the victim of judgment, you have to just kind of stop and reassess and why are you affected by it? Um, if you are, then it just makes you kind of think about, what is it that that you feel like you're being judged about. And, if you're okay with that's how you live your life, that's just how you live your life. Sometimes you just have to, oh, sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, but moving on here. But maybe there were some words exchanged again that are just bringing it to the forefront a little bit. And you're feeling like, wow, hey, thanks for judging. Um, but whatever that is for you, let's see here. In your recent past here is the Temperance card. So you came into this, I feel like, feeling very centered and very balanced, and maybe it is knocking you off balance a little bit. You're like, hey, but that's almost like you're living your life fine, and somebody says something that makes you kind of puts a spotlight on a way that you're doing things that you thought was just fine, and it probably is just fine. But now it makes you second guess yourself a little bit when someone makes a judgment like, oh, are you doing that right? Because I do it this way. So, okay, that's great. Thanks for pointing that out. Anyway, I feel like there's something like that. Like something's been brought to your attention that needed no attention anyway. It's just how you do things. So, again, you continue, you do you, and let's not worry about what other people are doing. And let's try to release this negativity. Sometimes people just say the thing and it puts it on you. That's literal spell. That's what words are. So people's words can have an effect, and that's why we all need to choose our words very carefully when we're talking to others. Anyway, what's on your mind this week is the moon. So I feel like intuitively you know that you're on the right path. You come into this center, and again, someone knocks you off balance with some words. I think we've all had it happen. Sometimes really that's the issue of that person, not you. When they're coming in with a judgment, and maybe, putting their opinion or how they do things on you, that's not nice for people to do. And I always think it's funny when that does happen. It's like, well, okay, well, you have your way of doing things, and that's nice. Um, but I do it my way, and that's just what I've decided. And can't we all just, live and let live? But some people have to make commentary. So, anyway, intuitively, look, I'm on the right path. I'm not gonna, but it's about releasing whatever energy, whatever conflict this is causing within you, because it looks like it did. What is just ahead of you this week is the World card. Look at you, perfect balance. I think you do get through this. I think you get over it. I think it's a little bit of it's just a little bump in the road, but it's just negativity that someone else has brought to right to you, and for no reason. But the reason is because some people are just like that. It's almost their own insecurities come out, um, and they just can mess up other people's worlds for fun. I don't know. I guess maybe some people are into that. I mean, I've experienced it as well, and you're like, well, okay, why? Why do you have to be like that? So, and Virgo, I mean, because we're so perfectionist. I have a lot of Virgo in my chart too. It's that perfectionistic thing that if someone does say a little bit of thing, it does make you kind of stop and question. You're like, well, what? I'm doing that perfectly for me. That's a little phrase that needs to come after it, for me, maybe not for you. Anyway, all right. What's in your advice here? Advice position says King of Swords, which is just be logical. Use that logic. This is Mr. Spock. He's not going to bring emotion into it. I just don't see you doing. Think logically, and really, again, put it back on that person, whoever has said something to you. Put it back on them. Why would they live logically? Was it A, any of their business? B, did they have, what reason do they have to kind of get in and mess with your world, just even if it's just exchanged words or whatever. Sometimes it's people are like that, and they're mean, and they don't really have your best interest at heart, but they like to mess with people. So, kind of fight back just with logic. Logically, like, what you're saying, that's great, but it has no bearing on my life. So logically, why am I feeling this? Why, you're making me feel things that I don't need to. And, that's when you start kind of distancing yourself from people like that if you can. Sometimes if it's a work person, you're kind of stuck being around them, or, sometimes family too, although, but sometimes just distancing. If someone's treating you like that, then why spend time with them? That's the way I feel. All right. What is beyond your control this week is the Tower. Yeah, it's a little bit of a disruption. And I think just a mental disruption, because it gets you in this negative mindset. And anytime, it can be kind of hard to just work through when you get yourself in a negative headspace. sometimes it's just kind of, it's like a, like the Ouroboros, it just kind of feeds itself, and you almost have to somehow break that cycle and get out of it. So make sure that you do that so that you're just not hearing these negative things in your head that have really been placed there by someone else. It's not even your own stuff. So, it's hard though. I know. Again, we've all been there. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Well, I hope you're trying to avoid this just being the end, just pushing through so that you're done with it. I hope that's your secret desire. I doubt if you're trying to avoid it and you want to keep this going. And maybe I'm just bringing it to your attention. Sometimes this is going on kind of in the background, like you have life going on, but this little thing is just kind of still over here. Maybe you go revisit it occasionally, but let's be done with it. And the way to be done with it is to release the negativity of it. Just release it, just let it go. And whatever, sometimes that takes distracting. Sometimes it just takes a reminder like, oh, I'm not thinking about that anymore. We're done thinking about that. And sometimes it's just about feeling that thing that that person said and really feeling the feelings of it and what it's making you feel, identifying them, and then releasing them too. Sometimes you do have to do that. But whatever it is, I hope it is your secret desire. I hope you're not trying to avoid being done with it. Again, maybe I'm just bringing it to your attention, that because sometimes we're just not super aware of it. It's kind of, again, a background thing. All right, what is in your outcome here is, look, the sun, the card of happiness and joy, and getting back to feeling that centered feeling. The world card is about perfect balance. So I think by the end of the week, you do release this, you kind of let this go. And again, hopefully this tarot card reading helps with this. It's just some negativity that's almost brought upon you, that's pointing out something you do in one way and someone else does in another way. And sometimes it's just, what, live and let live. And you do things your way and I'll do things mine. And it doesn't really matter that which way we're each doing things. Again, just some people can bring their judgment into things when they don't need to be. All right, what's hidden from you here is a new perspective at the bottom of the deck here. So yeah, that's not quite there. You might have a new perspective. I do think you push through and you get over this and you end up happier at the end of the week about it. But just release that negativity, whatever it is. I mean, again, all of us are always kind of fighting something in the background there. So release that negativity, Virgo. Let it go and be happier this week. Just kind of work on it. Sometimes you just have to specifically work a little bit harder on some things more than others. So, all right, let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Virgo as they're struggling with this negativity. And the card for you is to love your spirit. I like that card. Yeah, love your spirit. Love the way you do things. Um, I can think of ways where someone has pointed out that I do something different than them. And it cracks me up because I'm like, okay, and that's just the way I do it. It's fine. Your way's fine too. Some people don't see it like that. They're like, well, my way's better. Yeah, it doesn't matter sometimes. Sometimes people worry about the silliest little things. All right, let's get you a self-care wisdom card here. What does Virgo need to do in the way of self-care while they're trying to release this negativity? And the card that you get is the card called Possibility. Focus your attention on what could go right. When you learn to imagine the best case scenario, you get to enjoy an experience twice. I love this. This is the card of just manifesting the positive. So, what could go right? And think about it when it comes to this entire situation. Instead of like, we get in that negative headspace of like, well, they said this thing and it's really, and you're kind of ruminating on that part of it. And if you're anything like me, it's because you never really said what was on your mind, or you think of the perfect thing to say 5 minutes later. That's me. I'm always like I'm always more reacting to what people are doing more than thinking about what my reaction should be, or just reacting, shooting from the hip. That's just I just don't do that. So, and that's the kind of thing, it's like, oh, well, now think about a positive interaction that you can have with this person about saying, yeah, that's the way you do that. And that's great. That's awesome. And that's awesome. That way, when you do encounter that person again in this situation, or anyone in this situation comes up again, you know how to react to it. Like you recognize it and you know to react to it and try to do it in a positive way. But if you can, again, if you can manifest that by focusing on it before you even get there, almost like little role play in your head, like, oh, if someone ever says that to me again, here's my retort, like you practice it a little bit. And again, hopefully it's positive because you get to enjoy the experience twice because you've imagined it and then you get to live it out. So, Virgo, thank you so much for being here. I do hope there's something positive that you can take away from this reading and use in a positive way in your life this week. Good luck with this. Again, this is something we all go through from time to time. Some people deal with this better than others, and I think people that are, again, Virgos, if people who are perfectionistic, this tends to be, when someone's nitpicking like that, it is harder for people that are perfectionists to kind of deal with. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck. You can get through it. Just imagine the best case scenario, and again, live it twice. So thanks so much for being here. If there's anything here that does resonate, or if you have questions, drop me a comment down below and let me know. I'd be happy to answer questions that you have. Also, if you like my reading style, Virgo, hitting like and subscribe is really nice of you. So thank you so much for doing that. It really helps my channel, and I do appreciate that so much. But more importantly, it'll help you find me next week. Come on back and let's see where your story goes. So thanks so much. Good luck, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.